ಮನೋಜ್ ಕಿರಣ್
Yes,
ಏನ್
Sonu.
ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾನಪ್ಪ?
Yes,
ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿಲ್ಲ?
yes.
ಓಕೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. Hello, good evening, students. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Sorry, the session was late because of rain. We wait or we can start. Can anybody respond?
Sir, I've asked the students to join.
Yeah. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Uh, myself, okay. Myself, Mr. Sumanal, working as an assistant coordinator at MBA Food Business, Dairy Science College, Hebbal. I think I was introduced by Dr. Manoj Kumar in the last session as well. So, welcome to today's session. I hope we are already familiar with R Python softwares. However, there may be some new students who are not still aware of it. So from today's session, we shall start learning the Python from the basics. So without wasting time, we are already a bit late. So let us start session. So may I know how many of you are completely new to Python software? You can raise hands. Completely new. Okay. Okay. Two members. So three. Good. So friends, see, to me, the class has to be very interactive. Whenever I ask something, you please respond so that I'll know whether you know about it, any concept or not. So based on your knowledge, I'm going to, teach. I'm going to try to teach much better for you. So make sure the class to be interactive. Let me share my screen and we shall start the session. So is my screen visible to you all?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes. Can anybody see what is written there? What I am highlighting? Can you just read out somebody?
Python fundamental session.
Okay. Then thank you very much for the confirmation. So from today's session, we will be starting from scratch. That is from the basics of the Python till to the advanced analytical thing using the machine learning. So foundation is very important. Unless you understand the foundation, you can never go ahead and understand the machine learning based coding. So I hope you will give more attention to what I will teach today so that you will be clear with the basics, at least to some extent. You can become master if and only if you practice it well in the off time. So friends, you might have heard of this term called R and Python software, which are open source softwares. What does open source means? It means it is use easier or it is free software for us to use and to contribute as well. We can use it for free and you can also contribute for the global well-being. So based on your learning, there are so many users, especially whenever you hear about the machine learning in today's context, why Python is very, very popular ahead of our software is because of its users. Since it is free of cost, there are plenty of those users for the Python who use the existing functions or existing libraries or packages at the same time they contribute for advancement of those libraries and the packages. That is why it has become much popular in today's context, and it is one of the global leading software for data analytics and machine learning. So Python is, as you know, you might be knowing that it is a programming language. What does programming language? A language means a way of communication between two individuals to understand what we are saying. Similarly, a programming language is in simple, it means here we write the code to make the computer understand that what we wanted to get the things done. Suppose I write a code where I want to find the mean or I want to find the median or mode for a given set of values. So I want to make sure that the computer understands what I wanted so that I can get the desired outcome. That is called programming language. So it is a language which is nothing but a code written by us to the computer to make our work done. So this is a programming language, and as I said, it is a open source software, which means which is free to use and free to contribute, just like our software. So Python, uh, let us start with fundamentals of the Python. In today's class, I'm planning to cover the basic fundamentals starting from explaining the user interface of Jupyter Notebook, then the basic of Python calculations like finding the arithmetic operations like sum, multiplication, division, subtraction. Then the most fundamental thing which is called data types, different types of the data that are there in the analysis. When you arrange that data into different formats, we get something called data structures. And those, once you understand those data structures, then we can go ahead for scientific understanding of what is the procedure that we have to follow for analyzing the data. There you'll look at finding the missing values, what is means by null values, what is mean by outliers, how do you identify if there is any problem in your data, then how do you compute and how do you write the code for the data analysis, how do you plot them, on which time, for which variables, which plot is suitable. So many things we'll learn. First of all, students, why we need Python in finance or in data or in any industry for that matter. So let us take an example of an Excel file. So in an Excel file, number of rows and columns are limited, but the data that we are getting in nowadays in the AI era is very huge amount. If you keep collecting every minute data, every second data on suppose let us say any stock prices, it would run in thousands and thousands of rows or columns. So now, since the Excel file is limited in its size, you cannot perform the analysis for the entire data at the same time because of limitation of the space. And moreover, you have to go through each row or each observation to find the missing values or to see if the value that is placed in a cell is right or wrong. And analysis, usually when the Excel file is completely filled with the data, usually the Excel file will be hanged. So that means it won't get you to the destination of finding your results in a right way. There may be a lot of mistakes and it is very time consuming as well. So because of that, now the software has evolved to handle much bigger data, which is called big data analytics also. So Python is one of those softwares which is very popular, and it's very advanced in its libraries and the packages. In future classes, we will understand what is library and a package means. So Python is essential not just for data analysis, it is also essential in especially for financial modeling, automating the DCF models like discounted cash flow models, creating thousands of Monte Carlo simulations, maybe to data analysis, visualizing the interactive dashboards, building the charts, developing various plots for understanding the data, to automate some workflows or to automate financial data scraping, to automate the report generation, and so many machine learning analysis, so on and so forth. There is no limitation for the advantages of using Python. So most of the companies worldwide, no doubt, they are using this Python to automate those work. Whenever you hear about the word artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, most of them are done with Python. So that is the power of Python. So in today's class, we'll be understanding. The session is divided into 4 subsections: arithmetic operations, data types, data structures, data visualization, and plotting. So first module of today's session talks about arithmetic operations. That means how we can use Python as a calculator, not specifically financial calculator, as a calculator, just like calculator 1 plus 2 gives 3. So just like that, with the basic examples, we'll see how the Python can be used as a financial calculator. There we will find stuff like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, floor division, modulo, and exponentiation, so on and so forth. You can find plenty and plenty of arithmetic, operations on those set of numbers that you have. So without wasting time, what we can do is we can jump into Jupyter Notebook and learn straight away from the coding part. So I hope you have already installed the Jupyter Notebook, or at least any other IDEs like IDEs, Integrated Development Environment. So maybe VS Code. Make sure you have installed Anaconda and then Jupyter Notebook. So every class, every theory has a practical sessions. So it is clearly mentioned for you that this time evaluation will be very strict, very on time, and it will be very practical oriented. So this is the Jupyter Notebook. I hope many of you know the basic UI, that is user interface of the Jupyter Notebook. So I have so many projects which I have created. What I will do, I'll go on this new tab and I'll create new folder, and I'll give name of the folder as Christ, maybe 2026. For the first time, we can create the folder. Just like our system, within the folder, we can create a new working environment or .ipynb file. So where we will write the code. If I go to my home tab, you see now there is a untitled .ipynb. That means IPython notebook. So this is called the extension. For R, it is called dot. For Excel file, it is called .xlsx. For PPT, it is called .pptx. So those are called extensions. So for Jupyter Notebook file, the extension will be .ipynb, IPython notebook. So now I have that file opened here. Suppose I want to rename this file. You can see at the top, there is a word called untitled. Just give a click here. Now you can rename it as, let's say, Christ session 1. I'll give as Christ 01. Then I'll say rename. So now let us look at some basic UI understanding. So in file, you can create a new file. Usually we use notebook file here. Otherwise, if there are some files existing within your system, you can open that file. You can save files, and you have download files, so many options. Similarly, you have edit options, view options, kernel option. This is very important, kernel, because sometimes when your Jupyter Notebook hangs because of some large computation, you may have to restart the kernel, or you have to shut it down and restart again or reconnect. So kernel section and file section are the two things which we mostly use. And here, so suppose I want to add one cell before, this is called cell. Suppose I want to add one below this, I can click on this plus button. Suppose I want to cut a cell, here I can select on this scissor button. I want to copy something, I can click this. Similarly, I can paste it. This play button is for running the cell. Suppose I write some code here. If I click this play button, the code will be executed. Similarly, you can go ahead with other options as we keep using it in the sessions later, so you can understand it. Or one more way of executing the line of code that is written here is using Control Enter and Shift Enter. Please note it. Execution of a command or a line is using three ways. There are three ways that you can execute. First one is, one second. Okay. First one is using a play button. Second one using Control Enter. Third one using Shift Enter. So when you say Control Enter, the current cell, this cell will be executed, but the new cell below this will not be coming. In a sense that once you use Control Enter, again you have to press every time this plus button to insert new cell. But when you use Shift Enter, the current cell will also be executed. At the same time, new cell will also be created. So you don't have to click this plus button and again and again. That is the advantage. And these cells are of different types. The cells are of different types. Here you can see there is a code cell, there is a markdown cell, and there is a raw cell. Code cell means you can see that there is a square but indication on the left hand side. If there is a that scale square indication, it means code cell. That means whatever the content you write inside this cell is considered as a code. Suppose I choose that as a markdown cell. Now you observe that the square symbol has gone. That means this is treated something like a notes or maybe heading, subheading like that. So though you execute it, it is not treated as a notes. Okay. And the third thing is a raw cell. Raw cell is also again a notes writing cell. So we will use in the coming sessions or maybe this session itself, so you will understand it. Sometimes students say that, sir, I'm running this line of code, but it is not being executed. The problem is you should see that the code, the cell is raw cell or markdown. You have to make it into code cell. This is basic. And the next basic thing is, suppose I have this cell. Let us say there is a cell A. Okay. Below this, I want to add one more cell. How do I do it? I can say Shift Enter. So new cell will be created. Or otherwise, bring your cursor outside. Now you see there is a blue color here. Click here. Now the cell cursor which was earlier inside got, it came out. Now if you press B for below, a new cell will be added below your current cell. A new cell, for example, I have a cell here A. I click the cursor outside and I say B. B means one cell will be added below. Suppose I want to add cell above this current cell. Suppose I'm working on this A cell. I want to add above. Just press A. So it adds one cell above the current cell. Suppose I want to delete this cell. What I will do? Select the cell which you wanted to delete and press 2 times D. 2 times letter D will delete your cell. Letter A adds one cell above the current cell. Letter B adds one cell below the current cell. So if you understand this, and Control plus Enter for execution or Shift plus Enter for execution. If you understand this, this is sufficient for basics. So much, we learn much, advanced things when we start our session. So here, one more thing I wanted to make sure that whenever you put a hash and write whatever you are interested, so this is called as commenting. Hash is called commenting. That means whatever you write next to hash is taken as a note. It is not considered as a code. So there won't be any error. So this is also like a note. Okay. Students, are you following? Anybody?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is our session 1. So as we discussed, we can, start our analysis or learning from basic arithmetic operators. So what I'll do, I'll say basic arithmetic operators here. Suppose I say shift enter now. Now you see that the error is being thrown out. Why it is error? Because the line I have written is not a code. It is just a simpler English, but I want it as not as a code, but as a heading. Understand? Suppose I make this code into Markdown. Now I say shift enter. Now you can see the line has executed and there is no error. Hope you understand. Suppose I want to make it into a heading. What should I do? So there are different ways. I'll teach you today the simplest way. Just suppose I'll paste this line here. You are in a code cell. In whichever the cell you are there, once you have entered the text, press on escape button in your system. That means you have gone out of the cell. Then press hash symbol and say shift enter. I repeat, paste the content, press on escape button and say hash symbol. Then you can run this cell. Since there are 3 hashes, this is treated as subheading. Suppose I make it 2 hash and run it. You see, it is much bigger. Suppose I'll give just single hash. Okay, instead of 3, I'll give single hash and say shift enter. Now you can see that the heading size has increased. So now suppose I don't want this, I'll delete. How do I delete? I'll press D 2 times. D 2 times. I don't want this, press D 2 times. So first we are starting with basic arithmetic operators. So what is the basic arithmetic operators? It is a simple mathematical calculations of any given numbers. Suppose I will say addition. What is the value of 2 plus 3? Anybody?
5.
Pranav, or are you there?
Yes, sir.
So others has to respond. Okay, 2 plus 3 is 5. This is a simple addition. So what I'll do, I'll put hash and write as addition. This is my nodes. After hash, whatever you write is considered as hash. Before to that is considered as nodes. So now if I run this, the answer will be 5. This is very simple, just like a calculator. This is addition. Suppose I want to add more than 3 numbers. No matter how many numbers you wanted to add, just keep putting a plus symbol and keep entering the values and say shift enter. Now you will get the results. So this is simple addition. Similarly, we know there is multiplication. Just like calculator, 2 into 3 gives you multiplication, which is 6. And this is multiplication. I'll just put hash, I'll write multiplication. Now I'll hit shift enter. Why I want to enter shift enter instead of control enter? Why should I go for shift enter? Alan Abraham?
Yes, sir.
Why do we want to go for shift and enter button instead of control enter?
So is it because to run the code?
Yeah, you can run it using control enter also. why we should go for shift enter?
I'm not sure, sir. To move on to the next code, as in the next line of code.
Okay. Are you able to follow my class?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I told it for 3 times, I feel. So when I select Control Enter button, a new cell will not be added below. So I'll go for Shift Enter so that the current cell will also be executed and a new cell will also be, added below that. Okay. So this is addition, multiplication. Suppose I want to subtract a number 91 minus 3. This is subtraction. There is nothing, complicated here. Subtraction. What else? Division. 34 by 2. This is division. This is all simple. What else Anybody? Addition, multiplication, subtraction, division. Is there any other, operations that you know? Anyone out there? Have you heard of something called floor division? Okay. This may be something new for you. So here it is called floor division, or it is also called integer. Suppose I divide 10 by 3. What is the answer I get? It is 3.33. Instead of 1/ over here, if I put 2 slashes and run this code, now you see I got an absolute dividing number. So 10 by 3 is 3.33. Whatever the decimal values are there, that will not be shown. Only the whole number will be shown. This is called floor division. Okay. Suppose I'll say 23 by 5. So that means 4.6. This is the value of a division of 23 by 5. I want a whole number nearest division number. Then what I'll do? I'll say double slash and run it. The value will be 4. This is called floor division, the nearest dividing integer for that. So 5 4s are 20. That is the nearest. Suppose, let's say 10 by 3 is 3.33. Now I got 3 from the floor division. Suppose I want only 0.33. How do we do that? That is called a modulo division. Modulo or remainder division. It is called modulo or remainder division. How do we do that? This is very simple. Again, 10, I'll just say %3. 10%. Okay, 1 second. 10%. I'll just take the help of ChatGPT to cross check. Okay, will not waste. I'll just escape this and tell you later. Modular division, I have to cover it. And the next one is called exponentiation, or finding the exponential of your value. Just like 2 power 3. How do we write it? 2 stars into 3. This is nothing but 2 power 3, which is 8. Similarly, suppose I want to find small numbers, we can easily do. Suppose I want to do something bigger like this. See how big it is. So for simpler things, we can solve anyway using Excel. When the data gets complicated, when the data size is too huge, then we need a softwares like Python. So this is all basics, which is not, Very, very, very essential. So in basic arithmetic operators, you have so many things like addition, multiplication, subtraction, division, floor division, modulo division, and the exponential. Is it the only thing, or you have something else? You have so many other advanced, things using something called math. Math is one of the package or a library. In simple terms, it means that there are so many functions which are, what do you mean by function? If you don't know, a function is a set of pre-written instructions to perform particular task. Suppose I'll say mean function. Whenever I say the word mean function, you should write mean. Function means open and close the bracket. This is mandatory. Whenever you hear the word function, you should write the name of the function and open and close the bracket. Suppose I say median function, median, open and close the bracket. So as I said, function means a pre-written set of code to do particular task. What does the mean function do? It finds the average or the mean value of the values that you pass inside these brackets. Each values separated by comma are called arguments. So you have, after every module, you have an Viva which will be conducted. So make sure you write the notes for all of these things. These are very basic. The questions will be asked in the Viva. So within the brackets, whatever the content you write separated by comma are called arguments. Suppose I say find the mean of 2, 3. Its job is to find the average value. That means 2 plus 3 divided by 2. That is 5 by 2 is 2.5. Similarly, if I write median function, it finds the median among the values that you pass inside. So like this, these basic things can be directly done just like we have written like in a calculator. There are some advanced functions which you have to import some packages. Means in those packages, a special calculative codes will be pre-written or the functions will be pre-written. So those packages has to be called on for the Jupyter notebook to perform those functions. So that will be done using math. How do we import? Import math. Math is a package, as you can import it as math or whatever the name you want. So this math has to be written as a math itself. But whatever the thing that you write after as, that is your interest. So if I say import math as M, that means I am calling this math library in short as M. Next time when I want to find something, I can just say M dot, which means my dear math. So it means to say, or if you are confused, I'll say math. Now suppose I want to find the mean of some numbers, I'll say my dear math, find the mean of, mean is a function, my dear math, find the mean of the numbers that I pass inside your function. This is as simple as that. For basic mean median calculations, for the descriptive statistics, you basically you don't need math function. But if you want to do advanced analysis, then you need function like math. Similarly, you can also have my dear math, find me an exponential of the number that I pass in. Or my dear math, the difference between R and Python is in R software, once you call particular package, again, you don't have to specify in each line that my dear math, find me the mean, my dear math, find me the exponential. There is no requirement in R software. But in Python, every set of job has to be assigned to that particular package when it is something special. So this is one thing. Again, please note it. Once you call any package, you have to assign the work for it in each line, wherever it is required. But in R, you just write one line of code, it will be imported and it keeps doing the work. You don't need to call it again and again in each line of code. Okay. So now, math,
Sir,
I want to
sir,
find,
I have a doubt.
yeah,
In case if we have imported multiple packages
yeah,
in R, then if we
yes,
don't say which it is assigned to exactly,
yeah.
then how will the result be?
So for suppose I'll say you have imported two packages, but out of that, mean function, let us say mean function will not be there in both the packages. When you
Yes,
call
sir.
main function, it understands that that particular function is written in one of those libraries. Then
Okay,
that
okay,
will
sir.
be executed automatically.
Got it, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So similarly, suppose I want to find logarithm. My dear math, find me the log of a particular number. You see the different colors in this cell. So now, if any of these colors turns into red, that means your line of code is incomplete. Import as these are in green color. That means your code is perfect. There is no error. And this blue color indicates the name of the functions. Okay. If you, whenever you see a red color, it means the code is incomplete or the code, there is a problem. You have written something wrong in the code. So I hope you are following. So this is very, very, very basic thing, finding the mean, median, log, exponential kind of stuff. Using maths, I'll just show you some special things that you can do. Suppose I want to find log of, let us say 10 is my number. I want to find log of the 10, or let us say some 25 something, 125. So friends, here I have written the number. Please listen carefully. This is very important, something I'm telling you now. This number is not saved yet. I am just writing the number. Suppose I want to save this number into something. I can write something like A equals to, or B equals to, or C equals to, whatever the name that you are interested. Whatever you write on the left hand side of your equal symbol, that is called as variable or object. Please make a note. Whatever you write on the left hand side of the equal sign is called variable or object. That means when you run this code, next time whenever you say value A, it means 125. See, I'm executing this. Suppose I say A, that means it is 125. This is the result. Understood? So this is called variable. There are certain rules. Variable should never start with a number. Variable should not start with a special cases like hash, comma, full stop, like that. Variable should never have any spaces, between the letters. So like that, it is an assignment for you. Please look at what are the rules of writing names of the variables. Okay, that is an assignment. Next, this equal symbol is called operator. So right now we have seen something called arithmetic operators like finding the mean, median, mode, etc. But this symbol which you can see equals is called assignment operator. It means that I am assigning the value 125 to the variable name which is called A. So next time when I say A, it means 125. So this is called assignment operator. Similarly, you have operators like greater than, less than, greater than equals to, less than equals to, and double equal. So suppose I write A, so I'll say 2 equals to 2. It means I am checking if the value 2 is equal to 2. This is not an arithmetic operator, rather this is an relational operator. So there are set of relational operators, as I said. This is equal, checking if the number 2 is equals to 2 or if the number 3 is equals to 2, like that. This is equal operator. The next one is greater than operator. If 3 is greater than 2 or 3 is greater than 2. Similarly, you have something called 4 is less than 1 or greater than or equal to symbol. So when you write two things greater than or equals to, I'm spelling like equals to. Usually equals to has to be written 2 times. So now you can see here I have written only once. Small things you have to remember. Less than or equal to. How do I write? If 4 is 3 is equals to 2, I know. What if 3 is not equal to 2? How do I write it? Just remove this and put an exclamation symbol there. Now this checks if 3 is not equals to 2. So results we will see later. Okay. So I'll add one cell above, just pressing A. So now I said the value A is nothing but 125. Now I'll see mathematical operations on this value. Next time when I say A, I will find that means I am asking for the number 125. Now let's see. So I want to find what is that log. So when I want to find the log, I need a basic, basically I can't find just straight away like that. So I need package which does the job for me. So I need something called math. Where do I get math? I have imported that math as M, math as math. Suppose I imported this as M. That can also be done. See now I M and then I'll run the code. Next time when I write, if I do like math dot, it throws error. So whatever the name that I have given, next time when I say math and call it as M, that means math function. So I'll say M dot. That means my dear math, find the log of a number that I give you. What is the number I give you? I'll give you 125. I'll say shift enter. Now you can see that the log of number 125 is 4.82. Log of the number is 4.82. This is called natural log. There is difference between natural log and just common logarithm. This is natural log. Suppose I want to find a normal log. How do I do it? My dear math, find me log 10. This is natural log, right? Normal log. So log 10 of the value 125. So why the error is coming here?
Because we
Because
renamed it as M.
very good. So we should learn from the errors. So it is saying name error. Name is nothing but a variable. What is variable? Anything written to the left hand side of equal symbol. Correct? So now it is giving name error means you have not assigned anywhere the word math. Correct? No place there is a math. We have changed it as M. So what I should do, I'll just say M. Now I hit shift enter. Now you see I found the log value. Hope you're understanding. If you straight away say log 10 of 125, you may not get it because it is not inbuilt function. So you have to call some special person to do special task. Who is that person? He is called M. Okay. Suppose I want to find anti-log. How do I find anti-log of the value? Any idea? So I'll just write 10 to the power of, this is an exponential function. Sorry, exponential function. Math. I don't want to write math because it is M. Log 10 of my 125. Now I say shift enter. Now you see it is 124.99. Nothing but the value 125 almost. So instead of writing this, what I can do is I can save this result, normal log result as A. I'll say shift enter. Now instead of writing all this story, I can just say A and shift enter. Now I got the same result. That is the importance of assigning the result or a value to a variable. So you can straight away use a simple variable to get the result. Similarly, suppose I want to find the square root of the function. So my dear math, find me the square root. Square root is simple SQRT of what is my value? My value is A. So A is 125. So I'll say A. They got 11.18 is the square root. Suppose I want to find the exponential of the value. How do I find it? Math dot exponential. Simple math dot exponential. Let's say number 2. Again, I'm doing the same mistake. M. So this is finding the exponential. Similarly, we have so many, permutations, combinations, all those advanced stuff can be done using the math. For example, I'll just show you one permutation or finding the least common multiple, LCM and HCF, which you have heard of. Let us see how do we find least common multiple or LCM, finding a least common multiple. So I'll say, my dear math, find me a least common multiple. My dear math, find me least common multiple of 24, 36. Now I see 72 is the LCM. For the same thing, if I want to find the HCF, HCF is called greatest common divisor. Now let us see how do we find greatest common divisor. Greatest common divisor, nothing but HCF. So instead of LCM, we just remove this. I will see GCD, that means greatest common divisor. If I run it, the value is 12. It is very simple, correct? So these things usually we don't find it in the Excel. So the advantage is someone has found out, he has written the code and made it into a library or a package which is called math, and he released on the Python portal. So you can download it and use it. That is how Python community is growing day by day and it is getting popular. So any doubt till here?
Sir, is it case sensitive?
Of course, 100% R and Python are case sensitive. Suppose I say m dot GCD of 24, 36. Now you see error. Understood?
Okay.
Because the Python and R software, both of them are case sensitive. Even if you miss, single letter, the code will not be executed and it will be thrown error. So if I change it into G, it will show GCD. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Understood? So
Yes,
you can find more like permutations, combination, whatnot. This is the basics. For example, you're all MBA finance students, right? Yes or no?
Sir, not only finance, even marketing students are there.
Marketing. Okay. Good. Now, suppose I'll just give a simple, I request everybody to just unmute because I'll ask something, you have to answer that. Suppose I'll say 1,200 rupees is the buying price of some stock. So I'll say my BP equals to, that means I am saying 1,200 means buying price of a stock. Okay. Now I'll say the selling price of my stock is equals to 1,450. How much? 1,450 rupees. Now I want to calculate what is my profit. How do we do that? Anybody?
1,450 minus 1,200.
So that means manually I can also write 1,450, something like that. Or else if I write selling price minus buying price, these are called what? Adityan, BP is called what? Adityan TS.
Sir, variables.
Very good. So these variables can be used directly in the formula. So I'll say profit is nothing but selling price minus buying price. That is 1450 minus 1200 rupees. So if I run this, now you see, earlier when I run the code, the result used to appear just below the cell. But this time, though I have run the code, result is not appeared. Why? Anybody? Okay. Because the result is not printed, rather it is saved into variable. Here you see, the result is not saved into any variable. So straight away, it just prints below the cell. But here what is happening? Whatever the result I am getting, I am just saving it into a variable. So I'm not printing the result. So printing the result can be done in two ways. Either you can just copy the name of the variable and run that. You will get the value, which is 250 rupees. Or you have one more function, which is called print function. The duty of the print function is whatever you pass inside these brackets, it will be printed. So what I want to print is, let us say, profit of holding a share is okay, comma, profit. I'll say, see, I don't want to write all this stuff straight away. Even if I write only, okay, I'll just enter it again. You may be wondering why I'm writing so much. Now you see, print profit. This line answer is 250 straight away. Suppose I want to write something like a text like this. I want to enclose them in a quotes. So here comes two things very important. Whenever you write a text or an alphabet or a word, make sure you always put them in a quotes. I'll repeat. Whenever you want to write a text or an alphabet or a word, you have to enclose them in quotes. And the second condition is always that has to be on the right side of your equal sign. Then we usually put the quotes. But whenever you write a number or a group of numbers, then you don't want to enclose them in the quotes. This is very, very important. So when you when you write a text, you need to put that in a quotes. Let us see that. Suppose I write 12 plus 13, I'll get 25, correct? Or I'll say, I will print 12 plus 13. The result will be calculated and it will be printed 25. So there is no error. Suppose I put quotes for any of one number or both the numbers. Now you see that there is an error. It says can only concatenate str. Very important. Str means string. 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 Str means string. So we are moving towards understanding data types. Str means string. Int means integer. Integer. String is nothing but whatever you put within the quotes. Whatever you put within the quotes. Chaitanya KM, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So whether we should enclose, text or number in the quotes, which one should be done?
Text inside the quotes and number without quotes.
Yes. Text should always be inside the quotes. So that text kind of data is called string data type. Make a note. Any textual data is called string. So it has to be enclosed within the quotes. And the number data is classified into two types, which is called integer and float. So we are heading to something called data types. We are heading towards learning the second topic, which is called data type. How do I make it heading? I'll just press on the escape button, hash symbol. I want this heading to be bigger, so I'll remove 2 and I say shift enter. So now we are moving to understand data types. What is data type? different types of data that we see or that we come across in our analysis or day-to-day life. What kind of data you see? Anybody? We see numbers. We see textual data. Any other data? Any other data? So whenever you go for data collection, what different kind of data you will see? So data types are of different type. First one is called numeric data, which is nothing but these are numbers. These are what? Numbers. All numbers are called numeric data types. This is the most fundamental thing to be known. So numerical numbers or the values are called numbers. Within this, there are two types. One is integer, which is popularly written as int, and there is something called float. So there are two data types within numeric, which is called integer and float. What do you mean by integer? Integer is nothing but a whole number. For example, 2 or for example, 3. This is a rounded number or it is a whole number. All whole numbers are called integer numbers. Do we see only integers in real life or we come across any fractional values also? Justin Thomas?
Yes, sir.
We see only integers or we come across decimal values?
We see both, sir.
Both. So those decimal numbers are called float numbers. For example, 2.1 or 23.5, whatever you write. Even 2.0 is also considered as a float number. Very important. Whole numbers in numeric data type are called integers. Those numbers with fractional values are called floats. I hope you are following. These are data types within the numeric data. And the second data type we have is called string data. Second data type is called string data. So what is string data? Ashmit Sapra, are you there?
Yes, sir.
What is string data?
Sir, the alphabetical non-numeric numbers that comes under code.
So what we should do for alphabetical, kind of data?
Put that under code.
Very good. So string is nothing but suppose I go for data collection. I'll ask you what is your name. It is not a number, right? You will say your name, which is an alphabet or a group of words or a single word. They are all string data types. A textual data. String is nothing but textual data enclosed in quotations. This is string data type. Third data type. Anybody? Any other data types you have come across? Anybody there? No. So the next data type is called Boolean data. Have you heard of true and false? Suppose I will ask you, have you recently been to movie? What will be your answer? I'll
Yes.
say yes, or they may
Yes.
say no. Yes and no are the only outcomes that you get in Boolean data. So when we go for any interview to collect data, some questions will be of this kind where the answers will be dichotomous, either yes or no, either 0 or 1, either true or false. Those kind of data are called Boolean data. So TRUE and true and false are called Boolean data. Since Python is case sensitive, you have to make sure that only the first letter in true and first letter in the false are capital, other letters are small case. Otherwise, it will throw error. We will see. So this is third data type. And the last data type is called complex. So complex is a data type where there are two parts. One is real part, one is imaginary part. Suppose I say 2 plus 3j. This is a complex data because the outcome or the value of this particular formula depends on the value that you assign for j. So you don't have single specific answer. So this is called complex data. Here 2 is real data, 3j is imaginary data. So such kind of data is called complex data. Okay. Here one thing is very important. For a data to identify as a complex, only alphabet J has to be written. If I write any other alphabet, it will be considered as a text and will be thrown as error. Only J alphabet is valid to be indicated as complex data type. So I'll just repeat, there are 5 different data types. Numeric data, where we have two things. One is integer, which is a whole number. Float is a decimal number. String, which is any textual data enclosed within the codes. Boolean data, which is true or false. Complex data, which is having two parts, real part and imaginary part. Now let us start working with this data. First data is called numeric data. Suppose I'll say 2. I'll say 2. Can anybody say with which data type it is?
Integer.
I wish you all of you will be attentive enough to answer my question. Yeah. Which data type it is?
Integer.
2 is an integer. Correct. How do I check whether it is an integer or some other number? So for that, we have a function which is called type function. When I say type function, what I should do? I should write type, open and close the bracket. Now, the duty of the type function is to find which data type does the value that we enter inside those brackets belongs to. Suppose I write 2. Should I enclose it in the quotes or not? Yes or no?
No.
All of you, please unmute your mics and respond. Otherwise, I know how to ask questions in the Vival in the later part. Should be attentive, otherwise it is of no use. So type 2, if I say it is int, as I said, 2 is an integer number. Suppose I said 2.0. Now is it an integer?
It's
I'll
a
just
float.
copy this. I'll paste it here. Now if I say, I'll remove this also. Straight away I'll say 2.0. What is the type of 2.0?
Float.
Yes, very good. It is float data type. Suppose, sir, can I convert this 2 into a textual data? Yes, we can. How do we do that? We can just put, if you want to identify it as a text, what we should do? Enclose that in a quotations. Just if you put quotes inside and run it, now you see it is a string. String means what? Textual data. Why do we have to convert this number into a textual data? Suppose I am asking what is the gender? Only two possible, maybe male or female. So for running some regression analysis, I have to convert that textual data into numeric data. So for all males, I will give as 1. For all females, I will give it as 2. Do you think we can find, mean of those values? Can I find the mean of 2 and mean of 1 there? Of course, since it is a number, we can find it. But suppose mean is 2.5. How do we interpret? Oh, okay. On an average, this person is 2.5 male. it looks funny. So we should understand what data it is. So though it is look like a number, we should not find the mean in such a case. So we'll put that in a quotes. So it becomes textual data and we can't find any mean, median, modes like that. Mode can be found. Okay. Now we have seen integer, float, and the third data type is string. So suppose the type of my name is Suman. So I'll say string. Suppose I'll say I'll store my name into a variable. Now I want to find, okay, if I run this, whether the answer will be correct or not. So whether line will be executed.
No.
Pranav,
No.
are you there?
No.
So this line of code will throw me error because this is a text and it is not enclosed in a quotes. So you can double click that and press the quotation symbols. So now the value Suman will be stored as A. Now I can find type of A directly. Now you see, though it is a text, I am not putting that into quotes because I said whatever is to the right of equal sign has to be enclosed in quote, not onto the left side. So since it is left side, I am not putting it into the quotes. No variable names will be enclosed in the quotation symbols or any special characters. This is very important. Okay, type of A, which is string. Now, what is the next type? We have Boolean type. So the next type is Boolean. Boolean means either true or false. So if I say capital true and shift enter, the name true is not defined. What does it mean? Name is nothing but variable. There is no variable which is assigned a value. There is nowhere we have assigned as value for the true variable. Why true and false are actually Boolean? The error is because of the spelling, case sensitivity. See now there is a red color. Suppose I'll say small letters TRUE. Now you see it turned into green color. That means your code is now correct. If I say shift enter, it will show as true. I want to see what data type this true is. What data type this true is. It is a Boolean data. Understood? Anybody? Any doubt? Suppose I'll say, okay, D equals 2. I'll put this into true. Now I'll find type of D. I'm giving D equals to true. Now I'll find type of D. What answer will I get? Kiran N, can you answer this question? Kiran, are you there? Okay, anybody who can answer? What is the
It's a
answer for this line?
string data type.
Excellent. So this students usually look at this true and may say this is a Boolean data, but we have enclosed that in a quotation marks, so it becomes a string or a textual recognition, and that will be stored in D. Now the type of D will become a string data, not a Boolean data. Such basic questions will be asked for your Viva. So you should understand the concept. Suppose I'll say type of false, FALSE. Again, it is a Boolean. And the last data type which we have is a complex data. I'll say to my, okay, A1 is my variable. Look here, A1, if I run it, it will show error because it is not defined. Not defined means you have not assigned any value to me, it is saying. Now I'll assign something for this. Let's say 3 plus, okay, 2 plus 3i. Now there will be again error. Why the error is because I is textual data, 2 is numeric data. Can you add number with a text? No, we cannot add. So that is why it is giving error. Suppose I'll replace I with J and say enter. Now error is gone because it treats the data type as a complex data. Now if I find type function A1, it will shown as complex data. Understood? So these are 5 different data types. Now we are going to something called type conversions. That means converting the data from one data type to another data type. Suppose I have a number which is 2. What is the data type of it? It is an integer. Now I want to convert that into a decimal number. How do I do it? I can say FLOAT. Decimal is nothing but float. Float. Now you see it turned into green. That means I'm right. Float of A. Float of A. Now if I say float of A, what it is doing? A is a numeric number, which is nothing but integer. Now I am finding float of the numeric number, which is 2. So what is the float of 2? It is 2.0. If I say shift enter, it is 2.0. Suppose I want to make it into a string. How do I find it? str, which is nothing but string, is a shortcut of A. What the result will be? 2 will be enclosed in a quotes. String of A. Sir, can I find the complex? Yes. Complex of A. See, 2 plus 0j. It will be automatically assigned. What other data type we have? We have Boolean data. Let us see what will be the bool of A. Boolean is called bool. It will be true. Any value more than 0 will be thrown as true. Understand? Any value more than 0 will be shown as true. Let us see Boolean of 0. It is given as false. Let us see Boolean of 1. It is given as true. You should note all these points. Boolean of any value greater than 0 will be returned as true. And Boolean of the value 0 will be returned as false. So here what I did, I converted the number from integer to float, string, complex, and Boolean data types. That means I'm converting one kind of data type to other kind of data types. These are called type conversions. What it is called? Type conversions. Are you able to follow this? Anybody? Are you there? Justin Thomas?
Yes, sir.
Your understanding?
Yes, sir. I am.
Okay. Now we have seen from integer to other numbers. Suppose I want to find from textual data. Let us say Suman is my name. I want to find, this is obviously in the string form. I want to find what int of Suman. Can I get this? Now you see it is an error because a number can be converted into a text, but text cannot be converted into number. So if you want to convert text into number, male as 1, female as 0, you should go and do something called encoding. What it is called? Encoding. So there are different stuff like 1-hot encoding, 2-hot encoding. You have to explore them because that is a basic thing for you before going ahead for logistic regression models. Okay. So text cannot be converted into number. Can we convert the text into complex? Is it possible? Yes, anybody?
No, sir.
No.
Yes. Again, we will get an error. So integer data type can be converted into any other data types. That is the example case I have written. Now the second job or the task for you is which data type can be converted into which other data types. You have to come out with an table. That is the second task. So now we are done with finding the conversions of the data type, which is called type conversions. So now you understood what is mean by. Can anybody say what is data and what is information? Data is raw collection of the facts and the figures. It is raw data. Okay. It is not giving any actionable insights out of whatever the data that you have collected or the facts that you have collected. When it becomes information only when you take whatever the facts you want, you organize them, you arrange them, you tabulate them, you calculate some kind of analysis, and you come out with an interpretations which are theoretically right. Then only it will be called information. So raw data is just a data. Upon performing scientific analysis, you will get information out of raw data. This is important. So that is about data types. Now, so Nihar, are you there? Nihar?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Can you just tell me what are the different data types, sir?
So sir, I don't know. I was driving, sir. I just came back to my place from internship, sir.
That means you are not followed class.
Sir, I'll cover it.
Okay. Next, the next topic is we have data types we have completed. Then we have also seen the basic stuff like what is UI, what is there in this. Then we have seen a textual data, basic arithmetic operators. Now we will go ahead with relational operators. Relational operators. So what is relational operators? So before to this, I'll tell you one more thing. Whenever you add or subtract or multiply any two whole numbers, what is the result type you get? It will always be an integer. Am I right? Addition, multiplication, subtraction of any two whole numbers or more than two whole numbers also will result in which data type? It will give you integer only. Suppose you divide any two integer, that is means whenever you go for division of numbers, what will be the answer for this? 2 by 2 is how much? It is 1. But if you see result, it will be 1.0. So division will always result you a float numbers. But addition, multiplication, subtraction of whole numbers will always result you in integer numbers. This is very important. Now coming to relational operators. Relational operators always results you a Boolean value, whether it is true or false. Okay, now let us see. Suppose I'll say A equals to 2 and B equals to 3. A equals to 2 and B equals to 3. I need not write A and B also. 2 and 3 I can take values. Suppose I want to find if A is equals to 3. I told in the sometime before that when you want to find relation, you have to use 2 equals. Is 2 equals to 3? No, we know that. So it is not equal. So the result will be false. Now you see the result will be false. So data type of the outcome of comparing any two numbers will always be a Boolean value. This is how questions will be there. So you should very logically think. Okay. Suppose I want to find, see, 2 equals to 3 is nothing but if A is equals to B. Again, Okay, B is not defined. So what is the problem here is name B is not defined. So B is not defined because that means I have not yet run this cell. How do I identify that? Now you see in this outside, there is a number within the square brackets. That means the code has run already. I have executed it. But you see in this cell, the code I have not yet executed it. So what I will do, I'll just say shift enter or control enter. I don't want cell below, so I'll use control enter. Now you got the number. That means the cell is ready. Now if I run this cell again, now I get the false. These both cells does the same job. So I'll go bit faster now. So we have two things. One is A equals to B. This is checking equality. This is first relational operator checking the equality. Second one is A is greater than B. So what will be the result? Is 2 greater than B? Is 2 greater than 3? No, again it will be false. This is
False.
greater than type. I want to see if 2 is less than 3. I can write like this also. I don't want to make sure that I have to write only A or B or only numbers. No, not necessarily. We can also combine them. Variable can be combined with a number. There is no problem. Now A means 2. 3 is a number. Is 2 less than 3? Yes. So I got the value as true. Yes, you are right. That is what it is telling. Now I'll say if A is greater than or equal to 2, A is greater than or equal to 2. Now it will say true. Why? Because A is not greater than 2, but definitely it is equal to 2. Correct? So I'm returning a value which is true. Now I'll say if A is less than or equal to B. Now I'll say the value is true because A value was 2, B value was 3. Now 2 is less than 3. That is correct. But is A equals to B? No. So even if 1 is correct, the result will be true. Okay. Suppose I'll take, one more at the end. I'll tell you if I want to check A is not equal to B. A equals to B. This is how we write A equals to B to check whether A is equal to B. I want to check not equal. So what I'll do, I'll remove one equal. I'll put an exclamation symbol here and I'll run it. Now you see it means true. What does it mean? 2 and 3 are not same. Hope you're understanding. 2 and 3 are not same. So whenever you want to check not, you should put an exclamation symbol before to the equal sign. So this is very simple thing. It gets useful when we have complex set of numbers. Suppose in a variable A, instead of saving one symbol number, just like 2 and 3, I put 100 numbers in A and 100 numbers in B. I want to compare each one against the other. So then it becomes complicated. For us to calculate, it becomes complicated, but the software can do just in a fraction of seconds. Okay, suppose I say A is 2. Okay, I'll do one more thing. I want to check if 2 is greater than 3 and 2 is less than 4. What is the answer? It is false. So within the relational operators, or let us say this, we can also call it as something called logical operators also. What is this called? Logical operators. Logically, we are finding which are all the logical operators we have is there is something called AND operator, there is something called OR operator, and there is something called NOT operator. We'll see AND and OR because they are the most used. So this is a simple example for AND operator. So this AND operator, the result will be true only if this is first condition, this is second condition. The result will be true only if both the conditions are true. This is important. True only if both are true. Otherwise, it will give you false. So now we got false. Why? Because so 2 is less than 4 is correct, but 2 greater than 3 is false. Suppose I'll make it as 4. Now you see it will be true because both the conditions in this is true. If I replace this with the same older one, instead of AND operator, if I put vertical slash line, this is called OR operator. It checks with if even either first statement or second statement, even if any one of it is true, then the result will be true. Again, I'll repeat. For AND operator to result as a true, both the statements must be true. For OR operator to be true, even if one of the condition is true, it results as true. Okay. Now, if I run the same thing, it is giving false. So is 2 less than 4? Yes. Okay. The operator or operator. One second. 2 is greater than 3 or 5 is less than 1. 5 extend 2. 2 is greater than 3. No, it is wrong. 5 is less than 2. It is wrong. So I'm getting false. But it is true. Illustration. 1 second. Even if one is true, it has to result in true, but it is giving false. 2 is less than 4 is true, but it has to give true. 1 second. Okay, I'll just check with this OR operator. I have to give clarity on two things. So this is relational operators. Just give you an example. Let me say A equals to one. Okay. I'll remove this. I'll take something called data structures. So there we will see comparison of undone these logical operators. So the next step, next thing that we study is data structures. There we see the logical operators in detail. I will just show you the comparison. We have so many values there. I will just show you that. Okay. So till now we have seen what is data types, different operators like arithmetic and relational operators. The next topic of discussion is regarding scales of measurement. Please listen carefully. Scales of measurement are of 4 types. One is nominal scale, ordinal scale, ratio scale, and the fourth one is interval scale. This is important. Nominal scale, ordinal scale, ratio scale, and interval scales are the 4 scales of measurement. What does these scales means? These are how we measure any variable. You take any data, those data will fall under one of these scales of measurement only. Nominal, in simple, it means it is a name or it is a text. If I ask you, what is your gender? If I ask you, what is your qualification? You may say, I'm master's, doctorate, postgraduate, something like that. Such kind of data are called nominal data. So it is a textual data. So which is not ordered in a standard category. Suppose I ask you, what is your marks in terms of grade? You may say A plus, A plus plus. So for A plus plus, A plus plus like that, there is a criteria. If you fall your CGPA or GPA within particular value range, you will fall under A. Like that. For example, I want to classify your height, how tall you are, whether you are taller or you are dwarfer. So there is a criteria above this height only we are considering it as a taller. Then such scales of measurement is called ordinal or much. Let us take one more easier one. If I want to divide a farmers into marginal farmers, small farmer, medium, large. So there is a criteria. If a farmer is having a land of less than 2 hectares, he is called small farmers. If he is having 2 to 5 hectares, he is called marginal farmer. So like that, there is a standard categorization of the data. Then that variable is called ordinal data. So that means there is a standardized classification into categories. Such data is called ordinal data. Ratio data is the most flexible kind of data scales of measurement. So you divide any number, you add any number, you multiply any number. In reality, most of the calculations that we get will have, either integer numbers or the fractional values. So ratio measurement is the most flexible and the most common scales of measurement. It may be division or subtraction or multiplication, whatever you say. So this is the most common. And the last one is called interval. Suppose I want to study or I want to say what is the temperature will be tomorrow. We can't exactly say tomorrow the temperature will be like 10 degrees. What we do is we will say temperature may range somewhere between 10 to 15 degrees. So we are not giving exact figure, we are giving a range. Suppose you go to hospital, BP should be only 120. No, it can go for a normal person, maybe it can go from 90 to 120 or 120 to 150. So like that, there is a range which will be given for particular variables. Those are called interval. That means range data is called interval data. Ratio is the most common and flexible. Flexible data is ratio. So these are the 4 different scales of measurement that you can see in a real life. So Pravalika, are you there?
Yes, sir.
What is, so suppose I use any logical, data to compare if A is greater than B, C is greater than 2, something like that. What data type will be my outcome?
Depends upon what do you keep A as.
Okay, I'll say 2 is greater than, okay, 10 is greater than or equals to 5.
Sir,
What is the answer?
True.
What?
True. Right, if you take it.
Whether 10 is greater than or equal to 5, what is the data type of my result?
Data type.
What?
Ordinal.
Ordinal. Am I asking you what is the scale of measurement or what is the data type?
Data type.
Yeah, but you are answering what is, scale of measurement. I asked you something different.
String data type.
Is 10 greater than or equal to 5? What is the answer it should come?
True.
True. So true is what data type? Is it a string data?
Boolean data type.
Yes. So the outcome is a Boolean data. Correct? Next. Kiran N, are you there? Okay. Ashmit Sapra, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Suppose based on your performance, you will be given a grade system. You belong to A plus grade. So which scale of measurement you will fall into, sir?
Ordinal.
Ordinal. Why?
Sir, it is a rank based.
It is
It is a rank based.
very good. So it is standardized category, right? So we should go for. So it will be an ordinal data. Correct. So now we are done with scales of measurement, data types, basic operators like logical operators, arithmetic operators, and relational operators. Next, we have seen different data types. Those data types can be arranged into different formats. When you can arrange data into different formats, that is called data structures. For example, you can see a matrix. Matrix is usually two-dimensional data. There are rows and there are columns. In an Excel sheet, again, you can see rows and columns, two-dimensional. Suppose you have only one variable data. It can be written in one-dimensional, maybe either in row or in column. For some variables, the data will maybe only numeric data. For some, there may be only textual data. For some variable, there may be both numeric and textual data. So how do you arrange these things is the question. So arrangement of data types in different ways is nothing but data structures. What is that? Data structures. So I'll say escape, put hash. So the next topic is data structures. So there are mainly four different data structures. How many? There are mainly four different data structures. I'll first say the theory. First data structure is called a list. As the name says, it is a group of arguments enclosed within a square bracket. This is very important. Or a group of values enclosed within the square brackets is called list. There are certain features of the list. First one is called ordering. So in the list, when you write 2, 4, 6, 5, 7, like that, it understands that 2 is in the first place. It understands 4 is in the second place. That means when you write a list of elements or a list of a textual words, it understands the position also. That is called ordering. So list is ordered. So the list is ordered. Second feature is called mutation. So I can delete any number from the list. I can add a new number to the list. I can replace the number. So such changes can be brought into list. That is called mutatable. If I can bring any changes, that is called mutatable. List is mutatable. And the third feature is called duplication feature. Suppose in the list, I can store the same value 2 times or more than 2 times also. But there is some data structures where you cannot store. Okay, so this can store duplicates as well. Okay, so these square brackets are called containers. So different data structures has different containers. Okay, first data structure is list. So, and the fourth feature can be, sir, should I put only numbers into these containers? No, you can combine even the text also. Okay, so this is called, you can put multiple data types within the list. You should remember the list is ordered by position, mutatable, you can change any element, and it can allow duplicates. This is very important. Second data structure is called tuple. Very important. The container for the tuple is just a functional bracket, which we used till now. The container is functional bracket. Again, here you can also put multiple data types in this. Okay, you can also put multiple data types in this. I am writing true, which is boolean, so I am not putting this in the quotes. Okay, now what are the features of this tuple? Tuple is again ordered, so it can remind where exactly particular value is there. The most important feature is immutable. The only data type that is immutable is, sorry, data structure that is immutable is tuple. Most of the interviews, they'll ask this. Immutable, that means once you create a tuple, you can never change any value from this. So when we should use tuple? Whenever you want to enter the information, which even by chance or by mistake also, you are not able to change the data. So it has to be very secured. It should be protected. In such a case, you have to create a tuple data structure. Okay, suppose you want you need flexibility, then you can put that into a list instead of tuple. So this is the immutability. Can it allow for duplicates? Yes, it allows for duplicates. And the next data structure is called dictionary. This is very specific. In R, it is not there. It is there in the Python. The container for the dictionary is the flower brackets. In dictionary, the very important thing is there are two things. First one is called key separated by colon, and the second thing is called value. So dictionary, popularly called key value pairs, is called key value pairs. The container for the dictionary is flower bracket. Suppose I'll say Suman is my key and value is true, or let us say 24 is my marks. Whenever I call Suman, it gives the value as 24. Suppose I want to add one more key value. I'll put comma, then I'll say key 2. Again, the value for that is value 2. Like this, we can keep on adding things. So dictionary is key value pair, and the features is it is ordered. Yes, it is mutatable, and yes, it allows for duplication of values only. This is very important. The key cannot be duplicated. There is no chance you can have two same key values, but you can have two same values. Therefore, values only can be duplicable in the dictionary. This is very, very important. And the fourth and the last data structure is called set. As you know, set is again, the container is flower bracket. The features of the set is, the most importantly, this is non-ordered. That means it cannot remember what is the position of your element which you have passed into it. Non-ordered. Can it be mutable? Can you access any elements? Yes. So it is mutatable. You can change element, you can delete, you can add the element. Can you allow for duplicates? The most important, no. No duplicates are allowed. Within the set, every element has to be unique. Suppose you have put two numbers which are common, 2, 3, 2. When you print the set, you will see only 2 and 3 in the result. Whatever the value duplicated will be automatically deleted. So when your data that you are writing is having any duplicate values, make sure you are not going to make it into a set. So in list, what is important? It can be ordered, mutatable. It can allow for any data type, and it allows for the duplication of the values. It may be numbers or complex data or maybe Boolean. It can be duplicated. Tuple, the most important feature is immutability of the arguments. These are called arguments. I told whatever is separated by comma is called arguments. So arguments are immutable. In dictionary, the important aspect is they are key value pair combinations, and only values can be duplicates, but not the keys. And the last data structure is set. In set, none of the values are allowed to be duplicates, and it cannot remember the position of your element. This is about data structures. Okay. So in Python, if you want to see an Excel sheet kind of a tabular kind of thing, so that is called data frame. So data frame is like an Excel sheet. So this is there again in some package which is called pandas. Just like we imported math, we have to call this particular thing from pandas. So I'll say import pandas as I can give whatever the name I want. I'll say PD. So next time when I say PD, it means it is pandas. So if I want any data into Excel table like, so I'll say my dear pandas, give a data frame of, this is the data frame is a function. Now whatever the thing I pass into this particular brackets, that will be given as a table value. So this you have to remember. So different types of data we have to, different type of data structures we have seen. Now let us proceed with the list. I'll just create the list. Let us say A is a variable. Till now we used to work with only single values. Now we will work with multiple values. So A is heterogeneous. I can homogeneous, that means only one data type. Heterogeneous, that means multiple data types as well. Let us first show only numeric data type 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 2, or I can also 9, 2, because let's check for the duplicates also. Now if I run A, I won't get error, and you see that there are square brackets. That means it is a list. What is the features of the list? It is ordered. That means ordered in the sense it knows the position where the elements are located. How do we check that? So there are two concepts again, which is called slicing and subsetting. Slicing and subsetting. So look here, slicing and subsetting, or maybe accessing also. You can do that. Suppose A is my vector of how many? 7 elements. Out of 7 elements, please make a note. Always the indexing is nothing but positioning of the values starts from 0 in Python. I repeat, indexing in Python always starts from 0. It means to say the position of 2 in this list A is not 1. It starts from 0. So 2 is in 0th position. 4 is in first position, 6 is in second position, like that. Now I want to access the second element. I want to access the second element. So what should be the index number, Alan Abraham?
Yes, sir.
So what should be the position or index value of the value 4?
1.
Yes. So within the square brackets, if I say 1 and say shift enter, now I got 4. That means within the A list, the element, first element is 4. That means it is remembering the position. Am I right? So it is remembering the position means it is ordered. I am taking only one value here, correct? That is called accessing. Accessing. Suppose I want to see the same thing in the reverse order. Same thing in the reverse order. Then let us see now it is what we should do. How many elements? 7 elements are there. Okay, I'll say reverse in the sense we will put just minus sign and I'll say -6. One thing you should make sure is when you are going from the left to right, index position starts from 0. But when you are going from right to left, index position starts from -1. Again, I'm repeating, such questions will be asked in the Viva. So position or the index position from right to left starts from -1. So let us say what is the value of position of 4? So for 2, it is -1. For 9, it is -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. So when I say A of -6, it gives value 4. So accessing can be done from forward way, or it can also be done using backward. Understood? Anybody, are you able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now this is accessing any single element. Sir, I want to access all the elements from second position to fifth position. How do I do it? That is called slicing, taking group of elements at a time. From the list A, I want to subset or I want to choose all those elements from second position to fourth position. Excuse me. Okay. I want to take all the elements from second position to fourth position. If that is separated by colon, that means it is slicing. So the values are 6 and 7. So now very critically look at it. From the second to fourth position means how many elements should be there? Second element, third element, fourth element. 3 elements should be there. Correct? Yes or no? Second to fourth element means second, third, and fourth element. Fourth means 3 elements has to be there, or 3 values should be there in the result. But how many we are getting? 2. Why? Because this is very important. There is something called exclusion. Exclusion means whenever you are specifying the range or slicing, the position of the last element will be excluded. So the value will come from second and third only. Fourth position will be excluded. So you will get only 2 values. These are small things, but makes lot of difference. So you should understand this. When I say, give me all the elements, give me all the elements in the list A from 2 to 7, what will be the result? How many elements will I get? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I should get 5 values. Now you see there are 5 values. If you count from 2 to 7, you will get 6, but we will get only 5 because the last position will be excluded in the result. This is called slicing. Okay, here I have written only list as a numbers. So now we can apply whatever the operators we have seen in the previous time, like arithmetic operators. I know A is how much? This list. Can I add number 2 to the this list? Let us check that. A is a group of numbers stored as a list. If I say 2, all elements must be added by 2. But it is not giving. Why? Because you cannot concatenate list with an integer. Correct? We cannot concatenate. So like this, you can see different operators on different lists with a constant value like 2, 3, or creating one more. What is that? One more. Let us say I will create one more and I'll give the same values, which is a variable. Now instead of 9, I'll just change it to 10. Now I have two things. One is A and the second one is B. If I print it, so what is the time getting? The brackets, it is not square bracket, so it is a tuple. Now I have two lists. One is A, one is B. Can I now add A and B? Yes, you can add. So that means both the elements will be added into a new set of list, and that list can be again stored. So when next time when I print C, it means the total of both the lists. Understood? Can I find how many elements are there in this? So yes, we can find using a function which is called len. Len function will give us how many elements are there in whatever you are passing. So len function counts the number of elements. So in len function, if I pass the list C, there are 14 elements. Can I find len of, let's say my name? What should be the len? It will be 5. Look here, even if I give one space, that will be counted as an element. Now you see the variable, now number of elements is considered as 6. This is important. Even space will be counted in the length function. So this is list. Similarly, I told list is mutatable. For example, C is a list. I want to add one element to the list. So I'll say append, there is one function which is called append. I want to add 123 to that. So it takes the list C and adds one element. The number is 123. Where it adds? Let us print the number C. Now you see that 123 has been added. Has been added at last position. Like this, suppose I want to add that 123 in the second position. How do I do it? There are different ways. You have to explore it. Otherwise, maybe while analysis, we will learn that in depth. That means we can add an element, we can delete an element, we can replace the element also. So it is mutatable. Can I have duplicates? Yes, you can see the 2 number is repeated thrice. That means you can have the duplicates. So these are the features of the list data structure. Similarly, you can go with tuples, dictionaries, sets. At your free time, you can please go through these things. So list, tuples, dictionaries, and the set. In dictionary, you have to have key value pairs, and only values can be duplicated. That is very, very, very important. Okay. Now, Pranav, are you there? Okay, Naresh Prasad, are you there? Naresh?
Sir.
Sir, what are the different data types that you have studied today? Different data types.
Different data types, right, sir? Sir,
Yeah,
it's
data
string,
types.
numerics, and then
Yeah,
Boolean and complex. Sir.
Boolean,
Boolean and
complex.
complex. Yes, sir. The
Okay.
4 types.
Okay. Right. Divya Moore, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Sir, can you just tell me what are the different data structures we have studied?
Yes, sir. List. Tulu dictionary set.
What is the second one?
Tuple. Tuple.
Okay. Tuple,
Tuple dictionary set.
dictionary
4
set.
types.
So what is dictionary, sir?
So dictionary is like key value, key to value, ordered, mutual value. Key cannot be
It is
cannot be
not mutual, it
duplicated.
is mutable.
Yeah, mutable.
It is mutable. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So just like a list, let us just create. Okay, I'll say something which is variable. I'll just show you how to create a dictionary. Dictionary comes with key value pair. Suppose I have 15 students in my class. I got them marks evaluated and they found different marks they have got. So I want to enter the data. So I'll enter it in key value pairs because when I call your name, I want your marks to come in front of me. So in such case, I'll go for key value pairs. So what is my key? Suppose my key is Suman. When I say Suman, I want his marks to come. So out of 50, let us say I have scored 35. So now, is there any mistake or my code is correct? Anybody? Aditya TS? Okay, if you guys don't respond, I'll take class till 10. Aditya, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. In whatever the code I have written, what is the mistake, sir?
Sir, comma.
Okay, sir. If I remove that,
Sir, then I think it is correct.
okay, let us see. It got error. Why, sir?
So the name is not defined, that's why.
So what does it mean?
Sir, I don't know.
That means you are not attentive in the class.
Yes, sir, I will try
Can you say
to
it?
catch it again.
What, sir?
I will try to catch it again.
I repeated several times. You say, I don't know. Okay, anybody, what is the problem in my code?
So the quotes for the
Yes.
text.
After equals text I'm getting here, that should be enclosed in quotes. Now if I run, the code is correct. That is why we say basics is what is important. Okay. Now I'll separate this argument for the second student. Let us say Sunil is a person and his marks is somewhere around 45. This is for the second student. Third student, let's say Uma is her name and she got 50 out of 50 marks. So this is how we create dictionary. So dictionary means a key followed by value, and it should be, the container should be flower brackets. Suppose if I say Uma again, but this time the marks is 34, what it will give? The value will be, you see here, Uma has to appear 2 times, but it is showing only once. Why? Because as I said, keys cannot be duplicated in the dictionary, but values can be. Suppose I'll say this as Uma2. Again, Uma2 has also got 50 marks. Now, if I print, now you see, since the keys are different now, but the values are same, the data is printed. So, keys cannot be duplicated. That is very important, but the values can be. And everything should be key value pairs. So just like list, it starts from 0th position. So within the EF, if I say give me the 0th position, it give me the error. Why? Because there is a key and there is a value. Suppose if I call Suman, now I get a result as 35. That's what I told you. If I just call his name, I want his marks to come before me. So if I say Uma2, what is her marks? 50. Yes, 50. I'm able to access it. That is called mutatability. So dictionary is also mutatable. It reminds the key value pairs. Okay. Again, within the dictionary, you can place list also. So whenever I say Suman, I want to print. So marks of 5 subject, 23, maybe 27, maybe 45, okay, 46 or 43 something. There are 5 subject. So I got 5 marks like this. For Sunil, I'll get 5 marks like this. So this is how we can create lists also within the, within the dictionary. Okay. So that means different data types, because here I have put the number, here I have put the text. Data types, different data structures can also be included within the dictionary. That is why dictionary is very popular. Hope you understand different data types and different data structures. Both can be included within dictionary data. That is very important. So any doubt till here? Anybody, if you have any doubt? Nobody. So you have so many operations on this. We're not going to do all those things. The last concept is finding the descriptive statistics of the data, like measures of central tendency. I'll complete in 5-10 minutes. Measures of dispersion. You might have heard of all these things, like mean, median, mode, geometric mean, harmonic mean, range, variance, standard deviation, coefficient of variation, etc. So I'll not take much of your time. If I say C, that means it is a list of the elements which I have stored earlier. Correct? What I'll do is simply I'll keep performing all these calculations on this particular list of elements. Okay. Let me see if I can find mean of C. It is giving error because the mean function is not there by default. We need somebody to find the mean. The most popular, the most used package for this all numerical calculation is called NumPy, numerical Python. Please write. NumPy means numerical Python is used to calculations on the numbers. What I'll do, just like I imported the earlier math, now I import NumPy as, you can give any name, I'll say NP. Once I import NP, now you can see, my dear NumPy, find the mean of, earlier the mean was in the black color because mean function was not there by default. Now, when I imported NP, it has that function, so it turned into blue color. So I want to find of mean what? Mean of all those elements. Instead of typing all these elements for each function, I stored that into C. Now I passed that into mean function. Now you see the mean of the values is 13.33. That means the average value of list of elements, the average value of list of elements in the list C is 13.33. That is how you find mean. Now let us see the median. My dear NumPy, find me the median of the C. The median is 6. What is median? The middlemost element is the median. Am I right? Middlemost element is the median. Now I want to find the mode. My dear NP, find mode of C. Oh, there is an error. Though it is turning into blue, that means function is there, but the result is not coming because the error says in module NumPy there is no function there is no attribute which is called mode. Maybe we will see mode. So again, there is an error. That means the word mode is somewhere in the function, in the library or package, but it is not a function as it is. So mode needs some special persons to do this task. So for that, we can call one more person who is called from import statistics as stats. Import statistics as stats. So not what I will do, I will say stats. My dear stat, find me the mode of elements in the list C. Now you see the mode is 2. That means the most repeated value in my set of values is 2. 2 repeated thrice. So NumPy could not do it. So there was one more person who can do it. Who is that? It was a stats module. So I asked a stat to find the mode. So mode is the most frequent, most commonly appeared value in your data set. Suppose you want to find the geometric mean, harmonic mean kind of stuff. Again, these two are not sufficient. You need much advanced packages for that. So that can be done using from. So this is like a very big one. From that we choose a small one. From SciPy means scientific Python. Make a note. SciPy means scientific Python. Within that SciPy, there is something called stats. So what I'll do, from that SciPy, I will import stats as SP stats. Again, should I write SP stats? No. Okay, I'll write SPS, there is no problem. So from SciPy, import stats as SPS. So now I can find geometric mean, harmonic mean, etc. How? Just we did previously. My dear stats or SPS, find me the geometric mean. Very simple. Find me the geometric mean of the values. What is the geometric mean? It is 5.84. So when you want to calculate about investment returns, you should go for geometric mean because it reflects compounded growth. Okay. When you want to go for investment returns, we go for it because it reflects the compounded growth. Suppose I want to find harmonic mean. How do we do that? So I'll just copy this. I'll paste it. Instead of G, I'll replace it with H. That means harmonic mean. So the harmonic value is 4.18. So harmonic means are useful when we are averaging the ratios. We are averaging the ratios and also rates. So you should know when to use which method of central tendency and central dispersions. So this is about measures of central tendency. Similarly, you can also find what is the minimum value in the C. C is list of elements. So minimum. Similarly, I can also find maximum of C. Now we'll jump into measures of dispersion. This is the last thing. Measures of dispersion. We have seen measures of central tendency. Minimum, median, mean, and mode. Now we are going for dispersion. So first and the most simplest form of dispersion is range. What is range? Range is nothing but maximum value minus minimum value. Correct? Range is maximum value minus minimum value. What is the maximum value in the C minus what is the minimum value in the C will give me the range, that is 121. Correct? Or I can save it as maybe D1 equals to maybe D2 equals to maximum and minus minimum. Now I can also write it as D2 minus D1. I'll get the same result. So this is range. The range will tell you, suppose I am working on the marks scored by the students. I have given exam for 25 marks. By mistake, the marks for one student has been entered as 250. Now what will be the range? 250 minus minimum is 0. 250 minus 0 is 250. Maximum is 250 minus minimum is 0. The difference or the range is 250. But actually, can it be 250? No. Why? Because the maximum marks that I can give for a student is 25. So maximum range can be 25 only. So range will help us to identify if the data is right or wrong. So if the range is beyond the limit, you can identify that there is a mistake and you can rectify it before going for analysis. So this is range. The next one you have is variance. So variance can be found out using NumPy. So I just shown NumPy is for numerical calculations in the Python. NumPy is numerical Python. So to find the variance, so my dear NumPy, find me the var. Var means variance of my values in the C. So I have stored it. If I don't store it, the values will be printed. So what is the variance? It is 865.95. Similarly, what we have is standard deviation. Again, NumPy does it. My dear NumPy, find me the STD, means standard deviation. You don't have to remember all this. when you are typing, it is appearing the blue, that means you are still correct. If it is not, that means there is no function. Easily you can identify it. Find me the standard deviation of the values in the C. So standard deviation is 29.42. 29.42. Okay. Now what else you know in the dispersion? Maybe you might be knowing coefficient of variation also. What is the formula for coefficient of variation? Which is ST by standard deviation divided by X bar, which means mean, into 100. So that gives you coefficient of variance. Coefficient of variance is ST by X bar into 100. So let us find this coefficient of variance. So what is the standard deviation? NP. This will give me standard deviation, correct? Divided by X bar is nothing but mean. How do I find the mean? My dear NP, find the mean of my value. So SD, this is standard deviation, divided by X bar into 100 will give me coefficient of variation. So the value is 220.7034. So higher the standard deviation, that means higher is the risk. Higher is the standard deviation, higher is the risk. Similarly, higher the coefficient of variation, higher is the risk. That means variation. Suppose you are talking about the returns from an investment. The variation of the returns is too high. That means you are too probable either to gain or to lose too high. Correct? However, risk is higher. So a lower coefficient of variation will indicate you the greater consistency. Okay. Now the standard deviation is 220. But if you look at our data, only one value, where is the 220? It is not at all there. You see, all the values are in the single digits, but there is one value which is in the triple digit. So it is deviating the results or the central tendency to a higher range. So if the standard deviation or the coefficient of variation is too high, you have to revisit your data and cross-check the results. So this is, coefficient of variation. Similarly, if you want find mean deviation, how do we do it? How do we do that? My dear NumPy, find be the mean of, again, there is some things that you should understand here. So mean deviation is what? So each value is taken as a deviation minus from the mean, xi minus x bar. That means every observation minus the mean of those observation. Correct? And we find the mean of those values. So how do we do that? Is in simple, I will tell you. So I'll ask NumPy to find all those values in the C and take a deviation from the mean of those values. Every value in the C will be taken as a deviation from the mean of those values. Now, some may be positive, some may become negative. That is why what we do, if you want to find total deviation, we have to do the absolute. Absolute means even negatives will become positive. So again, I will ask NumPy to find the absolute values. That means negative will become positive, positive will stay positive. Now, if we add, we will see total deviation of the data from the mean. So this is mean deviation from mean. Okay. So now this is nothing but xi minus x bar. Now I have to find the average deviation. How do we do that? Sum of this divided by number. That means I will ask NumPy again to find the mean of these values. So if I do this, I'll get something called mean deviation. On an average, each observation from the mean is having a difference of 14.62. That is what mean deviation is. Similarly, you can find for other. So this is how you do. And okay, let us. The next thing you have is only two things. One is interquartile range. The next thing is skewness and kurtosis. These are the basic things. Maybe we can do that in the next session. So if anybody have any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, we shall close the session today. Any doubt, or are you understanding? Please unmute your mics.
Yes, sir.
Are you
Yes,
able
sir.
to follow? Please, if you don't understand, you can ask me.
Yes, sir.
I'll go slower. I just want you to learn. Am I teaching fast for you? Are you there? Is my teaching okay, or I should go a bit slower?
It's okay, sir.
Okay, then if there are no doubts, thank you very much for the session. Maybe the session, no, if those who are first time coders may be a little boring unless you understand the basic. Make sure you listen to everything that I say so that you can keep up with learning. Otherwise, you won't be able to understand. So this is just a basic. Please revise. You have the Chat GPT, Cloud, everything. Whatever the technical terms which I told, like data types, data structures, data frames, containers, you can put that and you can learn. You need your own efforts more than what we teach. So thank you very much for this wonderful session. We'll meet in the next session tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good night. Have a good time.